In this video, I will be talking about Six Sigma, maybe from a 10,000 feet overview. And in subsequent videos, I will elaborate and provide additional information on the tools and techniques which are used in Six Sigma. So, Six Sigma is a rigorous, focused, and highly effective implementation of proven quality principles and techniques. So you can say that incorporating elements from the work of many quality pioneers. So Six Sigma aims for virtually error-free business performance. That is the main aim of Six Sigma. Sigma is a Greek alphabet. It's a Greek letter, and it is used in statistics by statisticians to measure the variability in any process. A company's performance is measured by the Six Sigma level or the Sigma levels of their business processes. So this Sigma in statistics is also this also stands for standard deviation. Deviation, that is variability. Traditionally, companies accepted a 3 or 4 Sigma performance level as the norm, despite the fact that these processes may create between 6,000 to 67,000 problems per million opportunities. The Six Sigma standard of 3.4 problems per million opportunities, that is what is the dream of every company to achieve Six Sigma. And this Six Sigma standard stands for only 3.4 problems per million opportunities in a response to the increasing expectations of customers and the increased complexity of modern products and processes. Now, Six Sigma relies on true methods that have been around for almost decades. In fact, Six Sigma discards a great deal of complexity that characterized total quality measurement, TQM, which has almost over 400 TQM tools and techniques. So Six Sigma takes a handful of proven methods and trains a small cadre of in-house technical leaders known as Six Sigma black belts to a very high level of, you can say, proficiency in the application of these techniques. So to be sure, some of the methods black belts use are very advanced or highly advanced, including up-to-date computer technology. But the tools are applied within a simple performance improvement model, which is known as Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, Control, DMAIC. So when I say DMAIC, here D stands for define the goal of the improvement activity. M stands for measure, so measure the existing system. A is analyze, so analyze the system to identify ways to eliminate the gap between the current performance of the system or process and the desired goal. I stands for improve, so to improve the system, and C is control, control the new system. We will be talking about DMAIC and DMADV. So there are multiple methods like this. So we'll be talking about DMAIC in more details in a separate video. Now we'll just talk about why Six Sigma, why any company may think about Six Sigma. So we'll first look about some history about Six Sigma, which will tell us the answer of this question, why Six Sigma. So when a Japanese firm took over a Motorola factory way back in 1970, this is a story of 1970s, there was a Japanese firm which took over a Motorola factory. Motorola was a well-known company. So, and that factory was into manufacturing of television sets. Those are called as QSR television sets. And this factory was in United States. So when the Japanese firm took over this Motorola factory, which was into manufacturing of QSR television sets in United States in 1970, they promptly set about making drastic changes in the way the factory operated. So Japanese firm wanted to have new processes and new ways of operating the business. So under Japanese management, the factory was soon producing TV sets with almost at 20% of the defects as they have or they had produced under Motorola's management. So the number of defects were reduced by almost 80%. And they did this using the same workforce, same technology, same designs, and did it while lowering the costs also. So making it clear that the problem was with the Motorola's management. So Japanese management was better than Motorola's management, which was in USA at that time. So it took until nearly the mid 1980s before Motorola figured out what to do about it. So there was a person, Motorola's CEO of that time, Bob Galvin. So Bob Galvin started the company on the quality path known as Six Sigma. And this became a business kind of success story, and he became business icon, largely as a result of what he accomplished in case of Motorola. So using Six Sigma, Motorola became became known as a quality leader or a profit leader. So after Motorola won the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award in 1988, the secret of their success became public knowledge, and the Six Sigma became known to everyone. So even though Motorola has been struggling in the past few years, and other companies have taken up in this Six Sigma banner, but Motorola has actually led themselves to a new levels of customer service and productivity by using the Six Sigma practices. So this is something about history, and there is your answer for this question, why Six Sigma? Because using Six Sigma, you can achieve almost, or you can rather reduce almost 80% of defects using the same workforce, same technology, same designs at lower costs. So that is why we should use Six Sigma. Now quality comes into two flavors. When I say quality, it can be potential quality or it can be actual quality. So potential quality is the known maximum possible value added per unit of input, and actual quality is the current value added per unit of input. So the difference between potential and actual quality is the waste. So Six Sigma focuses on improving quality, that is reducing the waste, by helping organizations produce products and services better, faster, and cheaper. So there is a direct correspondence between quality levels and Sigma levels of performance. For example, a process operating at Six Sigma will fail to meet requirements about 3 times per million transactions. The typical company operates at roughly 4 Sigma, which means they produce roughly 6,200 failures per million transactions. Six Sigma focuses on customer requirements, detection, prevention, cycle time reduction, and cost savings. Six Sigma identifies and eliminates costs which provide no value to customers, waste costs. So for non-Sigma companies, these costs are often extremely high, very high. So companies operating at 3 or 4 Sigma typically spend between 15 to 30% of their revenues for fixing the problems. So this is known as the cost of quality, or more accurately, the cost of rather poor quality. So companies operating at Six Sigma typically spend less than 10% of their revenues in fixing the problems. So now Six Sigma is the application, of scientific methods to the design and operation of management. Uh, the business processes which enable employees to deliver the greatest value of customers and owners, these business processes can be modified using Six Sigma. There is one important law as Pydex law, and this Pydex law says most of what you know is wrong. Now, you will be stunned by how often people are unable to provide data supporting their positions or decisions on basic issues when challenged to do so. So, for example, the manager of a technical support call center, that manager was challenged by the CEO to show that the customers cared deeply about the hold time. In a call center, hold time is very critical. So CEO want to know that customer are very concerned about the hold time. So when the CEO looked into the data, CEO found that customers cared more about the time it took to reach a technician and whether or not their issue was resolved. So customers were not concerned about hold time, but they were more concerned about how much time they are going to take to reach to the actual technician who is going to solve their problem, and is the problem getting solved or not. The call center's information system was measuring the hold time, not only as the time until the technicians first answered the phone, but also the time the customer was on hold while the technician researched the answer to the call. So the customer cared much less about this hold time, which company was noticing in their reports. So this hold time was not important for customer. This fundamental observation or change in focus made a great deal of difference in the way the call centers operated. The Six Sigma philosophy focuses the attention of everyone on the stakeholders for whom the enterprise exists. So it is a cause and effect mentality. Six Sigma is a cause and effect mentality. Well-designed management systems and business processes operated by happy employees cause customers and owners to be satisfied or delighted. Of course, none of this is new. Most leaders of traditional organizations honestly believe that this is what they already do. So what distinguishes the traditional approach from Six Sigma is the degree of rigor. So this is the introduction to the Six Sigma. So this is the end of the first basic session where we have discussed what is Six Sigma, why we need Six Sigma, the Six Sigma philosophy, and the Pydex law.